I'm Monica Deshpande. I'm the head of Employability and Graduate Success at the University of Westminster. It's been a really exciting time to work with Georgie and Chris on the case study that I'm about to talk to you a little bit about today. And we're really proud of this work at Westminster, and I'd like to share some of the initiatives that we have developed with you today. Before we dive in, I'd like to give you a bit of a background on Westminster if you aren't familiar with our history. Charlotte, are you able to move to the next slide, please? Thank you. So Westminster, as we're now called, was one of UK's first polytechnic institutions, established 180 years ago, to educate the working people of London. And we've become known for the many ways in which we help our students realise their potential, regardless of their background. And I'd like to draw your attention to the picture in the right corner down there. And this is just one example of the rehabilitation and retraining of World War veterans and wounded servicemen after World War I. So this sort of illustrates the kind of work that Westminster has always been involved with. And this history and heritage really continues to inform our values and our mission even today. Employability is one of the 4 core objectives of our university strategy, being Westminster 2018 to 2023, which is the latest version of it. Thanks, Georgie. So if we fast forward to today, this is what our student body looks like. We've got 41% of our students who are the first in their family to go to university. 60% of our home students come from a BME background. 46% are commuter students, and 8% of our students have a disability or a specific learning difficulty that they have declared. Now, this demographic influences the careers and employability support we offer and the emphasis on building aspirations and boosting our students' confidence. So while I will be talking about some of our targeted initiatives, our provision pretty much caters to the many and varying needs of the students, as you can see from this chart. So I'll start off with our employability journey model. And this is really a 4-stage model that helps our students focus and develop their employability skills in a consistent and a structured manner across their time at Westminster. So it starts off with knowing themselves, knowing the skills that they have, the skills they need to develop. So it's about self-awareness. It's about exploring the many options that are available at Westminster to help them develop these employability skills through some of the employability initiatives we offer, like Talent Bank or the Employability Award that you heard our students talk about. The third part of this employability journey is putting those skills into practical use. So it's gaining experience through a placement, through volunteering, or being mentored. And finally, the last stage is about getting job ready and preparing to transition into the world of work. So this is where they get support with developing their CVs, preparing for interviews, and preparing for the recruitment practices that they will face when they apply for graduate roles. So the careers and employability support that we offer is organized around these stages and forms the basis for our Employability Award, which I will tell you about in a minute. This is our ecosystem. It's my bubble chart of everything that we offer at Westminster. And it can look a bit intimidating given the number of bubbles that you can see there. But I'll be focusing on the 6 turquoise circles that you see there. I would normally have called this blue, but when I was working on this deck, my 9-year-old was sitting next to me, and he categorically told me that this was turquoise, and it'd be very uncool to call it blue. So I stand corrected, and I bow to the expert. So I present to you my turquoise circles. So starting on the left, we have the Westminster Employability Award, the Inclusive Futures Fair, our Inclusive Futures Insights, mentoring, work-based and placement learning, and the class of 2020. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. In addition to all these employability services that you just saw on the previous chart, our Careers and Employability Service, and Tracy, who's our Careers and Employability Service Manager, is here today with us. And one of the teams she leads is our Careers Consultants and our Placements team. And they offer one-to-one advice and careers consultation appointments, which is a way of offering bespoke advice to our students and vary from getting advice on their CV or an immediate careers concern they might have, to a longer interview that helps them focus on their career plans. And our independent students, which include our care leavers as well as our strange students, also have a fast track service where they can work with a named careers consultant, discuss their future careers, and are also contacted directly regarding bespoke opportunities. So it's very much about targeting the services we have to specific needs that our students have. So coming back to the Westminster Employability Award, and I know you heard some of our students talk about it. For those of you who are familiar with employability awards, you will know that the main objective of employability awards is to help students develop employability skills, and more importantly, recognize the skills, actually recognize the kind of skills that they have developed through their time, whether at university or even before. So it's about helping them recognize those skills via the extracurricular activities, as well as articulate these and evidence them when they meet potential graduate employers. Of course, they do get rewarded through bronze, silver, or gold awards, depending on the level of achievement they have achieved, as well as recognized at our Westminster Employability Award celebration at the end of the year. The Westminster Employability Award, as I mentioned earlier, is based on our student employability journey, so that from the time they start in their first year to their final year, they can progress in a structured manner. So they have quite a length of time to develop these skills consistently, building on what they already have. We've been, over the last couple of years, we've been working quite closely with our academic colleagues to embed some of the engagement into the curriculum. And our students tell us that they take messages around employability as well as career progression very seriously when they hear from it in course and from their academic tutors. So as a result of that work, we've seen an 80% jump in completions over last year. And we're still 5 months away from May 1st, which is usually the completion deadline. So it's been a huge boost simply by working with our academic colleagues, promoting this initiative in the curriculum, as well as working with personal tutors who are able to have individual and bespoke conversations with their tutees when they see them for the personal tutoring sessions. What this has also done, it's given us the opportunity to work with employers and involve them in this award. Currently, we're working with Amazon Web Services on a collaboration, and we're working to embed the Amazon Web Services educate pathways into the award. If this is something that you'd be interested in working with us, of course, we'd be very happy to explore options with you. So moving on to some of the targeted support that I'd mentioned in the turquoise circles. I thought I'd mix them up a bit, get rid of the circles. And so here we are. So the first of these is the Inclusive Futures Fair. And again, Georgie and Chris had talked a little bit about collaborative work and working with employers and universities and students to make sure that we get the right messages out to them. So this is our version of the annual careers fair. And it's a new avatar. We've run this format for the last 2 years, and it's a collaboration with 5 other London universities with similar student demographics. Our aim is to work with socially responsible employers who share our values and want to work with our student demographic. And the focus of the fair is very much on embracing diversity and promoting the inclusive recruitment development practices. And that's great for us and our students. But what it also does is it takes the pain away for our employer partners on delivering 5 careers fairs at 5 other institutions, talking to similar groups of students. So it brings together key messages in one place through one single event, working collaboratively with all the universities that are part of this consortium. We had about 90 employers sign up to the event a month ago, which we were pleasantly surprised given everything going on over the last 8 months. So, it's a format that we found really beneficial to us and to our students. And we've had some really positive feedback from our employer partners on delivering the Inclusive Futures Fair in this format. I'd like to move on to the next one, which is the Inclusive Futures Insights. And this is an introduction to career opportunities that are available in London. It's mainly hosted as Insight Days at our employer partners' offices. At least it was before we moved things virtually. The program includes a masterclass and focus sessions on building professional networks, in addition to the Insight Days that are hosted at our employer partners' offices. So it basically offers an opportunity to go behind the scenes at companies our students might choose to apply to. And it's a way of taking a peek behind the glass high rises that sometimes do intimidate our students and prevent them and put them off applying. Moving on to the next program, which is mentoring. We started off with the mentoring program back in 2011, 2012 with 11 mentor-mentee pairs. And today that program has gone on to have 600 mentor and mentee pairs as of 2019, 2020. And the focus is on career conversations that build our students' confidence, that give them role models that they can ask careers questions about and have career conversations that they might not have the opportunity to have those conversations in their own community or in their own personal networks. The questions can vary from how do I work in Australia to how do I get a job at the BBC and anything in between that helps them take those steps towards applying for graduate level jobs. We've also been partnering with the National Mentoring Consortium, and we work with them on working with BME mentors to support our students on this program. So these three were the programs that are extracurricular or co-curricular. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about our work-based and placement learning, which is an in-curriculum program that we have started on. So this is an ambitious project that we have embarked on. And our ambition is that by 2025, we will have work-based and placement learning embedded in every single course. And I know that work-based and placement learning is a bit of a mouthful, but basically it refers to real-life work experiences that help students get practical skills that they can put to use when they apply for either for placements or for graduate level jobs. Our ambition is to have a mandatory short-term work-based or placement learning experience in the first or the second year of every course. And by doing that, it means that students will have access to traditional placements, but also live projects, live employer briefs, and opportunities that help them put those skills into practice. While it is an ambitious task, it has a very clear rationale. I've told you a little bit about our student demographic, and from that, what we have learned is that work-based and placement learning lies beyond the reach of many of our students for a number of reasons. These could be financial reasons, it could be personal commitments and caring commitments outside the university. It could simply be a lack of confidence in their own skills and their abilities, or a lack of previous experience. The aim of embedding the core work-based and placement learning into the curriculum helps us support the engagement with our disadvantaged students by bringing these experiences onto campus. And so it's within the time that they've already committed to their course at university. Again, from the experience of working with our academic colleagues and partners, we've learned that working and embedding employability into the curriculum is really the best way for us to get engagement with students, to raise those career aspirations and raise their awareness of what's expected of them when they apply for roles outside the university. So this is a project that's really close to my heart and is a top employability priority at Westminster. And we'd be delighted to have a conversation with any of you if you think this fits your plans to develop talent. Finally, I'd like to talk about the class of 2020 and the graduate support. The class of 2020, as we all know, has been facing the toughest labor market since the global financial crisis in 2008. And our focus really has been keeping our class of 2020 graduates motivated and engaged in developing work-ready skills. And we've developed a careers package, which you can see on the screen, that includes a whole load of self-paced resources, workshops, webinars, LinkedIn Learning, and even a digital assessment center. Of course, they have access to resources that support their well-being. They have access to bursaries for students who've been furloughed or who've lost their jobs over the last 8 months. Westminster, like most of the universities, has pulled out all stops to support the class of 2020. But what has really surprised us, overwhelmed us, and something we're really grateful for, is the massive support we've had from our employer partners, offering their time, resources, webinars, support for skills. And again, I think this has come through the report that Chris and Georgie presented earlier. This was the last of the targeted initiatives that I wanted to share with you. But before I finished, I'd like to share some of the key messages on our wish list as a university that we think our students and graduates would really benefit and value from hearing explicitly from recruiting organizations. Again, you find that some of this echoes with the messages you've seen in Chris and Georgie's presentation. And I think the overriding and overarching theme is really one of hope and reassurance. We can't give them guarantees, but we can certainly help them with giving them hope and reassurance about the future and the future plans. While, it's hard to say when opportunities might be available or what will recruitment look like, what we hope that graduate employers will do is have very clear communication on when students can expect to see more information on the labour market opening up, more information on the plans that organizations might have around recruitment. If our employer partners are putting their recruitment on hold or don't yet know the size of their intake, we think it will be very helpful for this to be communicated to students so that they're aware. Potentially also maybe an email sign-up list for students to be notified of when this might be available. And I know that a lot of organizations are already doing that. I think the main thing is about appreciating and understanding that a lot of students might not have had the opportunity for any work experience over the last few months. And if organizations could ask for demonstrations of interest in how they've kept themselves going and how they've continued to develop skills in this period, or any community engagement that they might have been involved with, how have they spent their time and how have they enriched themselves and their skills over this period? I think that goes a long way to reassuring them that all is not lost, even if they don't have recent experience. And I think it's about hearing those very clear messages from recruiting organizations. We've heard a lot about EDI through the report. I think now more than ever, and all of you know this here, but I think it's more from our experience of what we're hearing our students tell us, that now more than ever, students are keen to know about how diverse is the team that I'm applying to, how inclusive are the recruitment selection practices, are there in-house networks that Georgie and Chris referred to support with onboarding and development? Are there mentoring opportunities? Are there people that I can talk to who will make me feel welcome when I'm part of that community? The other question is around online tests and academic grades. And are these selection barriers, as our students see them, really necessary for development? Are there other ways for assessing students in order to, as part of the recruitment selection process? Can they be reassured that asking for adjustments during the recruitment process at work is fair, makes them feel welcome, and makes it easy for disabled students to ask for that support? One of the examples that I like to use is giving students a copy of the questions at an interview. A lot of the times, an interview is often treated as a memory test where questions often have 2 or 3 parts, and it's quite hard for some students to keep all those 3 questions in their head, try and respond to them rationally, and then also remember what the order of the question is. So I think simply by giving a copy of the interview questions to them to look at in front of them, it helps a lot of students get over the anxiety of not trying to memorize the questions as they are asked them. Looking at the current environment and the level of online engagement that's taking place, I think one of the things that our students would like, have told us and would like to make known is that not all students have the connectivity to keep cameras on. It comes at the cost that they might not be able to pay. Sometimes they don't want to share their personal space. They have questions about the expectations on these online engagements. How formal are they expected to be? So providing clear instructions or advice can help manage those expectations and improve the quality of those interactions online. And it also helps students be reassured about a process that's been quite unfamiliar to them, the online engagement, online recruitment assessment centers, online interviews. And it's about putting them at ease and helping them do their best in that environment. Finally, coming back to skills, and through many of the reports, the ISE report and a few others that have come out, we've seen a lot of references to repackaging skills, reinventing themselves. But what does this really mean to our students? 2 of the skills that our students are developing during this time in lockdown is resilience and persistence. And how do recruiting organizations value these transferable skills and other lived experiences that they will have had over the past year? And can these be made more explicit during recruitment selection procedures? And finally, the last one that I'd like to talk about is about the curriculum. And I've talked a little bit about how it's really worked for us to work with our academic colleagues, but we've also found that by embedding some of these transferable skills, knowledge about recruitment processes, commercial awareness, and other skills that employers expect of students, by embedding these into the curriculum, helps make that link very strong with the kind of course that they've been on, the kind of skills they expect, and helps students put themselves forward in a holistic manner. So embedding these into the curriculum have really worked for us over the past year. And this is a conversation that we'd love to have with any of you who would be interested in exploring how we can work together about embedding skills, as well as some of the live briefs and live projects into the curriculum, so that our students can be ready, to the extent they can, of course, when they join you in your organizations. So I think we'd be delighted to partner with you to jointly boost the confidence of the class of 2020 and the class of 2021. And I welcome any suggestions and thoughts you might have on any or all of the above. Thank you.